Imagine this. Every morning you walk out to your backyard, leave a handful of seeds on the table or some breadcrumbs on the ground, and head back inside. At first, nothing happens. The seeds just sit there alone. Nobody comes. But one day, one shows up. A small bird that lands about 10 feet from the table. Doesn't come closer, just watches, evaluates, and leaves. The next day it comes back, but this time it stays a little longer, and on the third day it eats. What you don't know is that moment changed everything, not just for that bird, but for you too. And nobody told you that. This is bird science. Most people think that feeding birds is a simple act. You put out food, they eat. End of story. But science says something very different. When you feed the birds in your backyard consistently, you trigger a chain of events that completely transforms your garden. And it happens in stages, each one more surprising than the last. The first stage is the slowest and the most important. During the first few days, the bird that discovered your food isn't just coming to eat, it's coming to study you. It watches what time you come out, how long you stay outside, whether you move fast or slow, whether you make noise or not. It's building a profile on you, and while it eats, it's taking mental notes. But here's where it gets fascinating. That bird doesn't keep the information to itself. It shares it. Researchers have documented that when a bird finds a reliable food source, it changes its flight behavior. It starts taking different routes, spends more time in the area, and makes specific calls that other birds of the same species recognize. It's not a food cry, it's more subtle than that. It's a shift in its activity pattern that the others interpret as a signal that something good is in that direction. And that's how the second stage begins. Between the first and second week, you're going to notice something. It's no longer just one bird coming. There are 2, then 3, then 5, and they're not all the same. Different species start showing up. There's a precise scientific explanation for this. It's called interspecific facilitation. When one species feeds calmly in a place, other species interpret that as a safety signal. If that sparrow is eating there without anything happening, then I can too. It's like when you see an empty restaurant and hesitate to go in, but if you see people eating inside, you feel safe. Birds do exactly the same thing, and the effect multiplies. Every new species that arrives attracts another. Your table of seeds becomes a gathering spot, a meeting point, a social hub of the bird neighborhood. But what happens after the second week is what nobody really tells you. Third stage, your garden starts to change. Not metaphorically, physically. The birds that come to eat don't just eat. While they're in your yard, they hunt insects, a lot of insects. A single chickadee can eat between 600 and 1,000 insects in a day. Spiders, caterpillars, aphids, mosquitoes. Your garden becomes a natural pest control zone. No pesticides, no chemicals, just birds doing what they know how to do. But that's not all. Birds also pollinate. Hummingbirds move pollen from flower to flower while looking for nectar near your feeder. Sparrows and finches scatter seeds all throughout your garden through their droppings. Seeds from native plants that you never planted start to grow. After 1 month of feeding birds, your garden has more flowers, fewer pests, and more life than before. And you didn't do anything more than leave food on a table. But there's a fourth stage that is the most extraordinary of all, and it has to do with you. After several weeks of routine, the birds no longer just tolerate you. They recognize you. They know who you are and have decided that you are safe. You're going to start noticing behaviors you didn't see before. A bird that doesn't fly away when you step outside. Another that comes within less than 3 feet when you sit down. One that sings specifically when it sees you appear at the door. This isn't your imagination, it's science. A study conducted in the United Kingdom showed that European robins can associate individual people with the provision of food in less than 2 weeks. They don't recognize humans in general. They recognize you, and they modify their behavior exclusively when you appear. But what comes after is what completely changes the experience. Fifth stage, the connection. People who feed birds consistently report something that science is only just starting to measure. A feeling of calm, of purpose, of connection with something bigger than themselves. And it's not just a subjective feeling. Researchers at the University of Exeter found that people who live in areas with a higher presence of birds have significantly lower levels of anxiety and depression. It didn't matter the income level, age, or location. More birds, less stress. And here's the part nobody mentions. When you feed birds every single day, you don't just change your garden. You change your routine. You go outside at the same time, sit in the same spot, observe in silence, breathe, disconnect from your phone even if it's just 5 minutes. That daily ritual, that moment of quiet, is just as powerful for you as the food is for them. You're not just feeding them, they are healing you. But there's something else you need to know, something that can ruin it all if you're not careful. When you start feeding birds, you create a dependency. They adjust their routes, their schedules, and their territories around your food. If one day you stop putting it out without warning, the birds will keep coming. They'll wait, and when they find nothing, they'll burn valuable energy they need to survive. This doesn't mean you shouldn't feed them. It means you should do it with responsibility. If you start, be consistent. If you need to stop, do it gradually. Reduce the amount little by little over several days so the birds can adjust. It also matters what you give them. Sunflower seeds, excellent. Millet works for many species. Cut-up fruit attracts different birds. But white bread has no nutritional value for them, and spoiled food can make them sick. If you're going to do this, do it right, because once you start, it's not just your garden anymore, it's theirs too. So, what happens when you feed the birds in your backyard every single day? First one arrives, then many come. Your garden fills up with life. The pests disappear, new flowers grow, the birds recognize you, they greet you when you step outside, and you, without even realizing it, start to feel better. All of that from a handful of seeds on a table. Next time you step outside, leave something, anything, seeds, fruit, clean water, and wait. Maybe nothing happens the first day or the second, but on the third day, someone is going to show up, look at you, evaluate, and if they decide to be consistent, they'll stay and bring friends. If you want to know which foods are the best for each type of bird to put in a feeder, we're going to cover that in the next video. Subscribe to Bird Oracle. Hit like if this inspired you to give it a try, and let me know in the comments. Do you already feed the birds in your backyard? What species visit you? Because if you haven't started yet after this video, you're going to want to.